What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we need to talk about BBIG stock Vinco Ventures because this stock has a very important event going on today, and there's a lot of action that's likely going to happen based off of this event and some future events that we're going to talk about in the video. So let's take a look at the chart first of all and see what's been going on. You can see that on the day we're down about 3%. However, we are holding fairly strongly at this $6.45 level, which is the previous high that we reached on the latest pump up that we saw before this one. And on the day, you can see that we have bounced off of that fairly nicely, right? This is a big zone that we've formed over the past 10 days. You can see that was one of our previous highs, and we have fallen, very nicely. Every time in this zone, we've used it as support when, making higher highs, essentially, or higher lows, rather, right? When we were bumping up hugely, we ended up bouncing through the zone, bouncing off the bottom of it, bouncing off a higher point on it, and then bouncing off the top of it. So we are effectively moving higher and higher up. Now, we have also been bouncing off the $7 level, right, a couple of times. So we've kind of been getting stuck in between $6.45 and $7. And today could be a big day to actually break out of that level for a couple of reasons. First off, the anticipated key dates for Vinco Ventures. This stock, one of them is October 14th, and today is October 14th. It's the shareholders meeting, and all that you can really see for this, if you go onto their website, is that they are holding a 2021 annual meeting of stockholders October 14th at 9:30 a.m. And it's actually 11:35, so it's been going on for about 2 hours and 5 minutes. And it's being held at the Del Monte Lodge Renaissance Rochester Hotel and Spa. And then it has the address for it. I don't think it's open to anyone, maybe, though. I think that maybe you have to have an invitation or maybe just own some shares of the stock. I haven't actually looked into what it would take to go to the shareholder meeting. I wasn't interested in doing it. But we're going to likely see some very interesting action if some news comes out after that shareholder meeting based off of what goes on during the meeting. Maybe the shareholders will have something good to say about the stock, hopefully. And other than that, we're waiting for this October 22 date when they're going to record the Tide dividend spinoff. So that'll be interesting to watch for. A lot of people think that that is really going to shoot this stock price up. We're going to have to see, because what we've been looking at in the past with BBIG is you can see that over the past while, we have been getting beaten down and down and down. And this is all thanks to the manipulation of shorts. And we can actually look at that directly by seeing the short interest on this stock. This is a graph overlaying the short interest as a percentage of the free float over the price action. You can see that basically the shorts have just been piling in over time, adding more and more to their positions, basically just moving this thing up almost in a straight line. And that has just been dumping the stock price because shorts have been piling in, selling shares of this thing, potentially naked shorting it. And there's just been a lot of downwards pressure because shorts have been pushing it down and down. They don't want this thing to go up. They already have a relatively large short position. You can see 24.95% of the free float is shorted. That's relatively large. Although it would only take about 0.67 days to cover that position. Now, obviously, if shorts were to cover, they would likely be doing it because of a big catalyst or an already large increase in stock price, and so it might be a little bit more difficult to cover than people are thinking, right? If there's already massive buying pressure, then adding in the shorts covering would only increase the buying pressure by that much more, make it that much more difficult to actually get shares and make all the shares that much more expensive. So there are a couple of reasons why we could be seeing BBIG move up in the near future, especially, considering this shareholder meeting is going on. If you actually look at the open interest options activity for the October 15th strike date, that is tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. All these options are expiring. So if they're going to have an impact on the stock price, something is going to have to happen soon. You can see there are massive open interest call options for many of these strike prices. I mean, all the way down to $20, you have 44,000 open interest call options, almost 45,000, or just 13 off from 45,000. But at the $7 strike price, we have 18,000, 28,000 at the $7.50 strike price, 10,000 at the $8 strike price, only 4 at the $8.50 strike price, but 21,000 at the $9, 37 at the 10, just a ton of open interest call options. And what we would have to see for these to actually affect the stock price is we would need to see some momentum. Now, potentially, the stockholder meeting is going to be that momentum. It's not a guarantee. Obviously, BBIG has been on this downwards trend, and shorts have been manipulating it, pushing it down and down, making me very wary of the stock, right? Because when shorts really dig their claws into something, oftentimes it is tough to come back from that. Institutions have a ton of power. It's not impossible, but I am somewhat wary because institutions do have a lot of influence on the stock price. They've got a lot of money and a lot of ways that they can manipulate these things to the downside and the upside, if they want to, but oftentimes they manipulate them to the downside and take money from retail. So it is somewhat worrying to see so much downwards pressure coming off of the short interest, right? So many shorts just piling into this stock, pushing it down. It's a little worrying to see. Now, I will say, though, that BBIG has been experiencing above average search volume on Google, right? A lot of people have been looking for this stock, especially, yesterday we made highs of 100, the highest search ranking any search on Google can get. So very good news. And we have actually experienced a rise in search volume day after day, right? We've seen higher search volume here than we did the day prior and higher search volume the next day. Now, that hasn't continued today, right? We haven't beaten yesterday's, but we are still higher than 2 days ago. So this is still an upwards trend that we're experiencing with search volume on Google. Now, I will say that we have faltered a bit on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. We're down to the 17th spot on apewisdom.io. This tracks all the stocks that are being talked about on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. We are down a little bit, down 30% mention-wise over the past 24 hours, which is surprising because we are currently experiencing this October 14th shareholder meeting date, right? Maybe this isn't the biggest catalyst for a lot of people. Most people are waiting for the October 22nd record date for the Tide spinoff, right? So maybe people are just waiting to start posting about it then. But you can see, we're down to spot number 17, down 3 spots today. We're going to have to see what happens with this, right? If there's some good news from the shareholder meeting, if there's something noteworthy, this could start boosting our rankings on Reddit and Wall Street Bets and get some more buying pressure for the stock. Now, you will see that on StockTwits, we're still doing relatively well, right? The only things above BBIG, well, first of all, we're the number 4 spot, but the only things above that are Shiba Inu coin, which of course, that has just moved up massively over the past couple of days. So obviously it's going to be one of the top spots on StockTwits. AMC, not a surprise, right? Everyone likes talking about AMC stock, and it's up 5.72%. So that's got a lot of people talking. And Ocugen stock, which is just a big pump that a lot of people are dealing with, potentially. I've looked at this in a different video that I just posted today. This is potentially going to be a breakout play, but BBIG is still below all 3 of those on StockTwits. Maybe if there is some good news from this shareholder meeting, that'll give people something to talk about on StockTwits, and we'll actually potentially be able to see ourselves break out of this $7 level and hopefully move to the upside. Because if we were to do that, so close to the strike date for these options, then institutions would either have to put a ton more downwards pressure on this stock, likely increasing the short interest dramatically, right? I would expect that they would have to increase the short interest quite a bit if we did end up seeing a solid break of the $7 level. I think that would encourage a lot of traders to start taking a position in it because they do know that there is the potential for a gamma squeeze, especially so close to the strike date, right? Institutions would not have that much time to buy up these shares, and it would actually lead to a relatively massive increase in the volume for this stock to the upside, right? I think a lot of people or a lot of institutions rather, would have to be covering these naked call option positions that they've likely placed by tomorrow, right, October 15th, if they're going to then expect these option contracts to be exercised. So that could be a massive catalyst for the stock if we do start seeing a move to the upside. If we start getting above $7, that could be really good. But once again, like I've said, this stock is heavily manipulated, very shorted, and a lot of institutions have a vested interest in keeping it down. So always be wary of that, right? It's not a guarantee that we're just going to spike up because of the news. Institutions often have a way of manipulating things. Always be careful with these kinds of trades, guys. I'm always rooting for the little guy. I always want retail to win out. But oftentimes institutions, they're just too powerful for a lot of these plays, and retail isn't as coordinated as they could be, as they are with AMC and GME. They've been pretty well coordinated with those, but some of these smaller plays just don't have the momentum sometimes to actually break the institutions and to get them to cover. So that's just something I thought I would point out. Now, if you guys have enjoyed the video, that's pretty much all I have for you on BBIG. So if you've liked it, then consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.